Brendan Rodgers has provided some massive news which will give Celtic a huge boost as the season continues on. In today's video, we will go over this story whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Brendan Rodgers has spoken about Daizen Maeda's contribution to Celtic, describing the Japanese forward as a player who always gives everything for the team. Speaking at his pre-match press conference ahead of Sunday's League Cup quarter-final against Partick Thistle, the Irishman acknowledged that recent weeks have been a challenge for Maeda, but hailed his professionalism. Maeda has been the subject of speculation over his future, with reports that he wanted to leave the club in the summer. Despite that, the forward has continued to feature regularly and scored a vital header against Kilmarnock last weekend. Rodgers highlighted that goal as an example of Maeda's movement and intelligence, qualities he believes make him an important option in attack. He also stressed that, regardless of circumstances off the pitch, Maeda's commitment and honesty on it never waver. The Celtic boss made it clear that as long as Maeda remains at the club, he will be trusted to deliver with his work rate and sharpness in front of goal. He said, "I think it's probably been a difficult period for him. He doesn't let out a lot of emotion, but I think you see in Daizen the integrity of what he brings to the team and his own game and what it brings." So that was a brilliant goal. The movement, any former strikers or strikers watching that will have seen his movement. There's other areas of his game that are different to other strikers, but he scores goals, and his movement and the cross-in was very, very good, and he gets his goals. So I just think that whilst he's here, he's a type of player, especially as we move through the season. He's very honest to the game, and I think he's that type of player that it will be very hard for him not to give 100%. Rodgers' comments highlight how much he values Maeda's attitude, even with doubts over his future. By stressing the forward's honesty and work rate, he made it clear to supporters that Maeda is still a key part of the squad. His header against Kilmarnock was further proof of his influence, showing he can step up in important moments. Rodgers stressed that these qualities are vital for how Celtic attack and win games. Even though there are still questions about what happens long term, the manager's praise shows Maeda remains central to his current plans. Rodgers trusts his effort and commitment to drive the team forward. Going into the quarter-final at Firhill, Maeda's energy and reliability give Celtic an edge. Rodgers sees those qualities as vital as the season continues. Now for the main story, as Brendan Rodgers has offered a fresh update on Celtic's defensive options, with Austin Trusty, Anthony Ralston and Alistair Johnston all working their way back from injury. The trio have been sidelined in recent weeks, leaving Rodgers short of depth at right back. Speaking ahead of the League Cup quarter-final against Partick Thistle, the Celtic manager confirmed that both Trusty and Ralston are making encouraging progress. The pair have stepped up their recovery on the pitch and are expected to be back in full training soon. Johnston's return will take longer, but Rodgers suggested the Canadian international is moving quicker than initially expected. After sustaining a hamstring injury in the Champions League playoff, he remains some way off but is now back building strength. The Celtic boss insisted that, despite the injuries, the squad remains strong and capable of competing on all fronts. He said, "Pretty much the same as last weekend in terms of availability. Austin and Tony are doing really well out on the pitch now and should hopefully rejoin the group next week. Both of them are in boots now, so they're out of that stage, and that's hopefully good news for them. Alistair is doing really well too. He's not close to playing yet, but hopefully he'll be back out on the pitch soon, building up his strength in the gym. Apart from that, the squad is strong. I think he is ahead of schedule. You never know. There's always a timeline on players whenever they're injured, but of course it depends individually on how they react to it, and he's been coming along really well." Rodgers' update offers encouragement for supporters concerned about the lack of defensive options in recent weeks. Trusty and Ralston being close to a return should ease the pressure in a demanding run of fixtures. Johnston's recovery, while slower, appears to be heading in the right direction. His progress ahead of schedule will be a boost to Rodgers, who values the Canadians' consistency and drive on the right side of defence. With Celtic still competing across multiple competitions, squad depth will be key in the months ahead. Rodgers stressed that the team's spirit and strength remain intact despite the setbacks. The return of key defenders in the near future could provide a timely lift as Celtic aim to keep momentum in both domestic and European competition. In other news, Brendan Rodgers has confirmed that the investigation into the cowardly act briefing against him has been concluded, insisting the matter is now over. The Celtic boss sparked headlines last week when he described a leak briefing against him as cowardly and called on those responsible to resign. His comments followed reports in the media that appeared to question his position at the club. When asked again at his latest press conference if he had been given any update on the matter, Rodgers cut the topic short, refusing to elaborate further. He made clear that his focus has now fully returned to football and preparing his team for upcoming fixtures, with no intention of letting the episode become a distraction. When asked, "Can I just pick up on one thing you said in the last week's media conference about how you thought the briefing was a cowardly act against you? Have you received any indication?" He said, "It's done. It's done." Rodgers' short response signals his desire to move on from the off-field drama, though questions around boardroom unrest at Celtic remain. The manager's decision to close down discussion reflects his focus on keeping attention on the pitch rather than boardroom politics. For supporters, his handling of the issue may be seen as an attempt to keep unity intact within the squad, while wider frustrations with the board continue to grow. Whether the matter truly ends here will depend on results in the coming weeks, but Rodgers has made his position clear. For him, the issue is finished. In other news, Brendan Rodgers has explained why defender Jamai Simpson-Pusey has yet to see much first-team action at Celtic, insisting the summer signing is a long-term project, despite being on loan for the season. The 19-year-old centre-back arrived with promise, but has been kept on the fringes so far this season. Celtic's backline has been one of the team's most consistent areas, with Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers forming a solid partnership. That stability has limited opportunities for Simpson-Pusey, while Dane Murray has also impressed in pre-season and Austin Trusty edges closer to a return from injury. Rodgers has stressed that Simpson-Pusey remains highly rated by the club, but reminded that earning a place at Celtic requires time and adaptation. Coming from a new environment in Manchester, the teenager is still adjusting to the demands of his surroundings. Speaking to Keltsar here, the Irishman said he is pleased with the progress the youngster is making behind the scenes, backing him to seize his chance when it arrives later in the season. He said, "I think it was a medium to longer-term signing we were looking at with young Jamai. We had our centre-halves in place, but he was a young player who we saw as a talent. He has come in, but the team have defended well in the main. He is here for the 12 months at least to show what he can do. It is not easy to come into a club like Celtic because you still have to earn your position in the team. You're coming into a new environment from his club, so it just takes time. It is that adaptation. Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers have been doing really well. Dane Murray has been great over the course of pre-season. We've still got Austin Trusty, who is just coming back from injury. The competition is there, and you have to earn your place."
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.